I'm trying to get rid of this thing. It's in my screen. There it is. I've got this weird background. Isn't that fun? And the reason is I've got a green screen back there, but I usually have it positioned over there. And it's over there because Wednesday night I did a concert. And the place where I sit in front of the keyboard to play and to sing is over there. And so it's about, I don't know, 4 feet further that way than it would normally be, and I haven't had a chance to move it yet. So I just left it here, right? That background is the real life in the basement here, and this background is this beautiful green screen. And you know what? See this? You are designer of your life. What a cool thing. The concert I did Wednesday night was so much fun. There were all kinds of people that came, and it was such a blessing to be able to sit with them and to share some songs. Now, I titled this one, Victimhood is Seductive because it removes responsibility. And I talk a lot about creating your ultimate life, a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. And I write that a lot. I talk about that a lot because it's the key to happiness. It's the key to joy. It's the key to creation. It's the key to lots of stuff. I saw a thing, I saw a post on Facebook today where one fellow that I know was talking about another, and they said, this guy is a both and person instead of either or, and that's a rebellion against either or, and I hate either or. Either or implies that you can't have it all. And who made that rule? Like, really, if you have things that you want in your life, the truth is you create your life. So why wouldn't you create the things you say you want? The truth is, victimhood is seductive. There it is. It's the title above the screen. You can't see it. Victimhood is seductive because it removes responsibility. So here's the list. It's not my fault. I was born at a bad time. I have all these responsibilities, obligations. I have no time. I have too many bills. So-and-so did this. The weather's not right. The government did this. The wrong person got elected. And the list is as long as, well, longer than my arm. And that makes it so that I get myself off the hook all the time. Well, both and means I can have both things and this and that instead of this or that. Why can't we have that? And the truth is we can. So let's talk for a sec about why we don't. Victimhood is one of them. Victimhood is I am a victim of. So let's list the possibilities. I'm a victim of life. I'm a victim of haphazard circumstance. I'm a victim of illness. I'm a victim of abuse. I'm a victim of being, bullied or prejudiced against, or, a long list of things. And you know what? Every week or year that goes by, that list gets longer. We create another subcategory of victims that are now the victim of some other kind of mistreatment. I am the last person to say anything about being to disagree at all with being loving, kind, and full of joy and lifting and blessing those around us. I believe in that every moment, every breath of every day. But I also believe 100% just as strongly in taking personal responsibility. You can't offend me. You offended me. You hurt me. You hurt my feelings. You marginalized me. You this, you that. No, you didn't. You can't. I can choose to be offended, marginalized, or otherwise disadvantaged by what you did, but you cannot do that to me. Now, I realize there's some physical differences. If someone comes and, attacks somebody, you got attacked. But 90% of this kind of victimhood is mental, spiritual, and emotional. We choose it. And you can get pissed off at me for saying that, but we do, and we've learned, and we keep reinforcing the idea. We keep reinforcing the idea that because I'm a victim of something, then everybody owes me something. Now, by saying this and going down this road, I can immediately hear all the people saying, well, what about this and what about that? There are crimes that get committed. There are cruelties that get done to others. Those things happen and they should be handled in accordance with the frameworks and laws that we have. I'm not talking about that because that's the small portion. What we're trying to do so much is we're trying to take every potential slight disadvantage, problem, or anything and turn it into the major crimes category. So we put everything that happens in the same category with some real impediment. What kind of nonsense is that? You and I were divine beings. We were built with agency and choice and the right and obligation to choose. We were built with the opportunity to create. We were built with infinite potential. And every time I open my mouth and choose to be victimized, I am decrying, denying, and deflating and diffusing and disparaging that potential. Ooh, that was a lot of D's in a row. But that's what I'm doing, and why would I do that? Why wouldn't I lift and love and expand and grow and say, in spite of that, I'm going to do this anyway? I don't care what happened over here. I'm creating. Guess what I'm creating? I'm creating the ultimate life. How is your life? Are you in love with yourself? Are you in love with your business, your life, your family, your kids? I love my kids. I just love every one of them. And I don't know if any of them's going to see this or not. But if they are, I love you to pieces. That's just a true thing. And I think about that every single day. I see their faces and I think about what they're doing. And I just love them. And I'll bet you do too. Now let's turn the mirror around. Do you love yourself? Do you love yourself as much as you think you love your mate or your kids or some other thing? You know, we're told, love your neighbor as yourself, right? Well, that presumes we love ourselves. Self-love is ultimate spirituality. I can't imagine in any universe a creator that said, well, you know, go ahead, hate yourself. That'll be okay. Not true. Not true in any universe. In any universe. I was on a podcast this morning, and I was really impressed with the host. The host was a fellow in Delhi, in India. And of course, that's, I think, 12 and a half or 11 and a half hours, or 12 and a half, because they're on the half hour thing, but 11 and a half or 12 and a half hours different from here. So for me, it was 10:30, and that meant 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night for him. And so there he was, chipper and bright, you know, recording this episode for his listeners. And we got to talking about what he was looking for, and he had Healing Journeys was the name of his show, Healing Journeys, and his guests stories about healing, and he asked me about my experience of dying, because 2018, so 8 years ago, I died and had some miraculous experiences, and he wanted to know about that. But more importantly, he wanted to know what the aftermath is. What is the learning after that? What comes from that? What has changed? And that's cool, because I just submitted a proposal to speak at the International Association of Near-Death Studies, the IANS conference in Seattle this coming August. And that's exactly what I propose to talk about, because STE, spiritually transformative experiences, and NDE, near-death experiences, and there's a lot of other acronyms associated with that, but those two are ones I'm familiar with and have experienced, both of them at different times. The question isn't, did an incredible thing happen? Yes, it did. The question is, what are the differences? How do you find and measure the difference? Like, what difference did it make? So I've talked to lots of people, and it's that I've interviewed on podcasts and other shows that I run, not as a guest, but as a host. And if you want to know where my show is, it's Your Ultimate Life is the name of the show. It's on all the regular podcast platforms. Anyway, I'm surprised. I'm not anymore, but I was surprised at the number of people that I interview, and I ask them about, you know, their journey through life and how they got where they are in terms of what they're about, what they're creating, and all that stuff. I'm surprised by the number of people that have had spiritually transformative experiences, like big deals, some near death, some, you know, just the number of people. And what that does is it makes me love the Creator even more, because that tells me that the Creator is paying attention to each person and is reaching and touching them in a way that allows them to be moved or invited in a powerful way to think about what they're really here for and what they want to stand for, who they want to be in the world. So it's a lot more than I would have thought. And I still think it's a microscopic fraction of the population. But still, there's just more than I thought. And maybe they're attracted to a show about ultimate life. So I get a lot of applications for those kind of folks that have had a transformative experience and because of that have changed their lives and moved forward. And that's what the real question is. Because you can go be somewhere or stay home and have some amazing thing happen in your heart, in your mind, and then nothing changes. Nothing changes. When you think about history repeating itself, that's because nothing changes. We don't remember the lessons that we once learned as a race, as a species. And so the one thing that I'm talking about here that's become of a lot of interest to me recently is figuring out and tracking the markers of difference, of change, relationships, business, personal meaning, who you stand for, what you stand for, and who you are in the world. And that's going to be what I talk about if my proposal's accepted. Anyway, you can create anything you want. Create your life. Why would you hand the pen, the brush, or the mortar to anyone else? I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.